If you've just watched the footage that I've put on now of when Paula's going into the cottage where I went to today, I can't believe I've been there. There's no Chirikov. Where is he? Why isn't he there? I mean, he's just been doing hammer and tongs against Paulus. They've been locking horns for the last 5 months, 200 days in Stalingrad. The answer to that is, as the Soviet ring around the German Sixth Army tightened, the Russian 64th Army, which was responsible for the south of Stalingrad, which I haven't gone into because it's just way too much information. Von Paulus moved his department store. He moved his headquarters into the basement of the Univerlink department store in downtown area Stalingrad. That fell into the jurisdiction or area of influence of the 64th Army, so hence the reason that Paulus surrendered to the 64th. I believe that Paulus and Chirikov never met, even when Paulus was in Soviet captivity for the next 12 years, until he died. Chirikov, my hero, the 62nd Army was renamed the 8th Guards Army in honour of what they achieved for winning Stalingrad. His army was renamed the 8th Guards Army, and they still had 2 years, 4 months of bloody fighting until they got to Berlin. It was the long, bloody road to Berlin. At the end of the war, Chirikov became the commandant of Berlin, and I believe that he lived there for a long time. Chirikov died in 1981. I told you that he'd been a wounded, shot, shrapnel, blown up 11 times, and I told you that one had been left in his left. I don't know if you remember right at the beginning of the trip. I told you that one of the bullets or pieces of shrapnel had been left in his left arm because they couldn't operate on it. In 1981, he died of septicemia, which he got back, that came to haunt him, that wound, at the age of 81. Septicemia from that wound all them years before, 50 odd years before, that they couldn't get out of his arm. That killed him, that wound, which is quite ironic. On a personal note, his son had said in memoirs many years later that his father had said as an old man to his son that he dreamt of the Mummy of Kurgan. Over the last year I've had the odd dream about it, and also we're on par there, but when I dream about it, it's the lush, beautiful park that I've shown you with the wonderful monuments where couples go for picnics and lovers walk hand in hand and children play and that, like as it should be. But for Chirikov, it would have been the battlefield that he'd seen in 1943, but the story's not quite over.